Hey everyone, and welcome to another video of building a Christmas park. So, in this episode, we are finally starting the water park, and I am really excited because we get not a lot done in this episode, but we really get to set the footprint for later on in the series. This is probably going to be the part of the series where some people are going to be a little bit mad with my vision that this water park isn't going to be Christmas themed. However, uh, as far as like the quote unquote story goes for this park, the water park is not a part of the Christmas celebration in the rest of Hillview Gardens, which is what this general park is called. Any coasters will be a part of the Christmas celebration, but this water park is most likely not. My option for this kind of stems from me wanting to just make a cheap budget park, which I probably will do for my next series, but also it's really hard, or you don't see it often. You don't see a themed water park very often. Like, I know DreamWorks has their water park, but like just in general, you don't really see much water parks with a lot of theming. Like, most of them are just slides. They may have a couple sets theming here and there, but the actual like slides themselves aren't really themed. And also, I feel like any decorations like wreaths or Christmas trees or fake snow, they would all get really wet. I do know that parks like Blizzard Beach and Volcano Bay do really good with theming their water parks. However, this is just way too far out of this park's budget. Like, no, never in a million years would a park like this be able to afford that level of theming that Volcano Bay or Blizzard Beach have. Anyways, enough talking about theming, and let's talk about what we're actually working on. So we made these mat slides that you will probably see at most water parks that kind of like race each other down the layout, and most of the time they're like one big structure. Like, they're all the sides are connected, and you just can't do that in this game, like, at least without having to do something custom, which is what I'm doing here. I am using the art shapes to create a middle section for the water sides that just kind of like connects them together. I know that in Geekism's video he used a workshop blueprint for this, but I don't really want to use workshop blueprints. I want to be able to say that this park is fully mine, no blueprints or anything. So I just decided to do it custom. Also, I wasn't a huge fan of how he used like an average of the colors, or like the middle color, to determine what like the color in the middle was. I would much rather prefer to have it be half and half, like how this is. So I just decided to completely do it custom, which is going to be probably the theme for the rest of the park. A little advice on these slide platforms. If you want to make it to where there are no supports, before building anything, you have to place the platform on the ground and then use the multi-select tool to move the platform up. This will completely remove all of the supports and just make it a floating platform. If you have already built your slides, then the only way to remove the supports from there is to place another slide platform underneath the current one. And that will hide the supports for the slide platform. However, I have to like build a foundation or make fake ground. So it's kind of annoying, and I had to do it for this one and the next slide that we do. But I mean, a little bit of foundation doesn't look too bad. Another piece of advice is when you're placing the entrances for the slide platform and you want to have your own custom path going up to the platform, you don't want to have it be this like these stairs, then you just press Control and it will switch to the normal entrances that you can see on like coasters and stuff. We don't use it in this episode because just genuinely that like those stairs are just like a better looking entrance for these slides for a budget park. However, we do use it in the next episode to get the stairs for a slide complex up. Next, we are working on connecting the main path to this slide area. Now, the path tool is a little bit finicky. It's not as bad as the first game, because if you know how to use this tool, then you can like pretty easily create paths. But if you don't know how to use this tool, then it can be a little bit complicated. There's a great tutorial on YouTube. I forget who made it, but I can probably put a link in the description for that. And if you just know how to use the paths, if you use the tools, especially the edit one. I'm working on a secondary project off camera, and the edit tool was just a miracle in that project. If we didn't have the edit tool, then I would not have been able to create the queue for that ride. Anyways, we are working on the supports for the slide platform. Originally, I was going to use these like support pieces, these cross support pieces, maybe they're scaffolding, I don't know. But they're just they look darker than I wanted them to, like they're rusted or something. So I just decided to make custom supports. I'm using a technique where you build a part of something on this one wall, and then you copy that one wall around, and because it's on a grid, everything's going to be like connected nicely. We are using the flume supports for the actual like pillars, and the aquatic pieces that I love for the like cross beams. And then in the middle, the actual cross part, we are once again using flume supports, and I do use an anchor piece to make the middle section. Well, I do really love to watch time lapses of people building a park. It's probably my favorite thing to just get inspiration by watching someone else make a park, like not in real time, but like you get to see every step of the way. I love that, and it's probably my favorite part about watching people build parks. It's just really time consuming. There's very few times I have the opportunity to record these voiceovers, and I end up having like 2 or 3 videos being stacked up that I need to record in one night, or else I have to wait until later on in the week or next week. So for future projects, I probably won't be doing time lapses anymore, and instead I'll be doing a update kind of layout where I show you what I build, but like when I'm halfway done building it, I show you again, and then when I'm 3/4 done building it, I show you again, and then I show you the final thing and go around what I built. So you still get to see it through every step of the way, but just not every step of the way. It's gonna make it way easier to record these videos, and I'll probably be able to get more out and record them more often. However, I don't think I'll start with this series because we already have set up time lapses as this series format. So I'm going to stick to time lapses for this series unless it gets like really close to Christmas and I just have a bunch of videos to put out. Then I'll probably just do update modes. But for now, time lapses will stay. Next thing we are working on is a pool for the little kids and just a couple of little slides. Now that splash pad that you see to the left, I do remember filming it. However, I think I build something else in that same time lapse, and I am saving that time lapse for the next episode. So I'm sorry, but you're not going to be able to see me building that pool. But it really wasn't that hard. It's kind of the same as this pool. A bunch of draw tool and edit tool and round tool to just kind of get what I want. This pool was a nightmare to create just because of the transitions from the different levels. And also you're not allowed to edit the nodes of a path that are in like the middle of a path or a pool. You are allowed to edit the nodes on the edge, but like in the middle, I can't change any of that. And I think that's really annoying because for pools at least, the middle is it has to look the best, and you just don't have the option to edit it. And also with paths, if you have a cattle pen, and for some reason cattle pens really like to make curvy paths out of straight ones, you can't edit that because the middle of a path is not editable. You can only edit the edges, and since you have two paths right next to each other, it's technically one like big thing. So that really sucks, but you take 3 steps forward and 1 step back, Frontier. Alright, now we are working on the 2 little slides, the Little Dipper and the Big Dipper. The Big Dipper, the one that turns, is just, it's probably my favorite slide in the park so far, just because it's so smooth and it looks like an actual slide. The Giant Dipper is it can be a bit questionable if it would be in real life. However, I don't see much problem with it. It's just a little drop down. It's maybe a little bit steep, but that's like whatever. And now we're coloring them red and yellow and trying our best to put paths around the edge, which I do off camera because I was just a nightmare. Adding some body dryers to this section because realistically body dryers would be next to every pool or wet ride in a theme park. And I say this in the live portion, but most people will probably put their body dryers in a building of some kind, but in real life budget parks, those things are just going to be out for everyone to see. They don't look the prettiest in this game. I wish they had a little bit more of a triangular prism type of shape, but it's whatever. They look like body dryers, so it doesn't matter. Now working on a changing room, and that also kind of doubles as a bathroom. I had a bit of trouble later on adding the roof because I added like an outset in the roof where another set of windows are, and that was just a little bit hard to do. Also copying the water fountains from the other bathroom and moving this whole building down, because if you didn't know, the easiest way to make a building look realistic in your park is to get the scale right. Most buildings are way too tall for the actual guests in the park. Like a standard 4 meter by 4 meter wall is about a meter too tall for the normal guests. So I just suggest moving it down a little bit and then building everything, because it will look more realistic, more guest orientated. So that's what I did with this. Now we are fencing off this area because from this point to the racing slides, the rainbow racers as we call them, that's all going to be backstage, staff backstage area. And that's mainly because there's a water filter and water pump down that path right there, you can see it. So I just kind of want to like make that area not accessible to guests. I would have wanted to move this fence up the hill. However, that would make that like path up to the filter and pump really thin, and I really wanted the path to be right up next to the rainbow racers. So I just went ahead and did not have the hill meet the path below. I do think that it looks really good in the end still. Adding some sun chairs, and only a few of them have umbrellas, and I'm actually using this, I don't want to say technique, I don't think it's a technique, but I saw it in, I believe, Geekism's video on Plan to Audicua or something, where he adds these custom word panels to the umbrellas to add like the park name onto the umbrellas, and I think it looked really good. So I went ahead and added the new park name, Hillview Gardens, onto all the umbrellas. And as you can see, only a few of them have umbrellas, because if you're in a sun chair, you pretty much want the sun on you. So, yep. Now copying over the support pieces from the Rainbow Racers using the grid again. And I got kind of lazy with this. I just kind of brought up the metal pieces. And there's no roof. A slide like this would most likely have no roof because it's not a big attraction. However, that changes in the live portion. For some reason, so many people want to ride these slides. So, yeah, I have no idea. Now we are moving the supports out of the slide's way. Realistically, this is probably not the way they would do it. This is like really, really janky. Um, I don't think it's even holding anything up. So I don't know how they would actually do it, but this is how I'm doing it because it's the easiest way. Finishing up the episode by using the scenery brush to place some trees in this area. This is actually going to finish up the episode, and a word of advice: when placing these trees, make sure a line to surface is not on unless you want your entire forest to be kind of crooked. And also, I suggest when using the scenery brush to go in and move around some trees, replace a few with some others, because it just kind of looks unnatural if you just leave it to the scenery brush. Using the Viking wall pieces as like a stone barrier between the path and this like bush area. I'm really happy with how that turned out. I think that was pretty smart of me. I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back for that. Anyways, that is the end of the time lapse. I'll see you on the live portion. Hey, and welcome back to Hillview Gardens, that we're now calling it. So we're going to be going over what we have made here today. It's not a lot, but I really do got to start on the next portion of the park over here, and I can't do that until I get this done. So we are going to just leave the episode here. Starting off, we have the changing rooms. No particular inspiration behind this. It was just a building that I made. Coming over here, this is going to be a splash pad for kids. I'm gonna have like, you know, the mushroom things that splash down, and probably like one of those bucket things. We will be building that probably in the next episode. Here we got the body dryers. Now most people will probably put this in a building, however in real life it's just the body dryers, so I went ahead and just did that. Anyways, this is kind of exactly how I was imagining it. I didn't want it to be, this is like not a part of the Christmas celebration. It's just a theme park, or a water park, sorry. And if we can get through all these guests, then we'll be able to ride. These slides are really nothing special. Ooh. They're just small little slides oriented for kiddies, like kids and stuff. So yeah, really nothing special. Coming over to the Rainbow Racers, this is just a backstage portion that leads to the water pump and the filtration station. I will be theming that more in depth when we work on the splash pad. Now the very loud Rainbow Racers. There we go. I probably will put some greenery under here to make it a lot less bland. But, yeah. We can try to ride one, but it's probably going to be a little bit, jittery. So yeah, that's everything we got done today.